We made our share of mistakes in our shed to home build, but some things we absolutely nailed. And looking back, these wins made our home more comfortable, more affordable, and a whole lot easier to live in day to day. So today, I want to share the things that we did right on our 16 by 52 shed home so that you can borrow the good stuff, not just avoid the bad. Hey y'all, I'm Kevin and this is AskPawPaw. If you're new here, I built our own 16 by 52 shed to home conversion completely by myself. And now I'm building a 16 by 32 tiny home from scratch for my daughter and grandson, one paycheck at a time. Now, if you watched my 3 biggest regrets video, you already know I'm not afraid to be honest about what I would do differently. But today's the other side of the story. Today is about the wins, the smart choices, the things that made our shed home a success. So let's get into it. Let me tell you something I wish more people knew. One of the best things that we ever did was simply not waiting for perfect. We did not have a big budget. We did not have a garage full of fancy tools. We did not have some beautiful Pinterest blueprint that was printed out. We had a dream. We had a bare piece of land and just enough money to take the next step. One step. And honestly, that was enough. Starting, even when everything was messy and uncertain, turned out to be one of our biggest wins, because when you start, you learn. And when you learn, you get better. And when you get better, you make fewer mistakes. Starting early let us learn as we went instead of feeling paralyzed. You get to make mistakes early while they're still cheap. You build momentum one weekend at a time. You make real progress without going into deep debt. And here's the truth that most folks don't want to admit. If you wait until everything is perfect, the money, the tools, the time, the plan, you'll never start. Life won't hand you a perfect moment. We moved forward with what we had, even when it wasn't much. And that decision changed everything. It's the reason that we have a home today instead of still sitting around saying, well, we'll start next year. Sometimes the most important part of building a tiny home is just being brave enough to begin. And here's the funny thing about building a tiny home. When you start moving forward, even without everything figured out, you eventually make a few decisions that turn out to be way smarter than you even realized at the time. And one of the smartest things we ever did was something most folks completely overlook until it's way too late, which is win number 2, the fact that we got the roof ventilation right. Now, that right there, that was a major win, and honestly it has saved us from a whole mountain of headaches. A lot of shed conversions struggle big time with roof problems. I'm talking about trapped heat, moisture that can't escape, condensation dripping back inside, and eventually mold. And let me tell you, you do not want mold in a shed. It's miserable to fix and it sneaks up on people fast. But because we set our roof up to breathe from day one, we avoided all of that. We made sure that there was real airflow, not just a couple little vents stuck in for decoration. We had a proper ventilation with a ridge vent to let heat escape a space for air to move freely with no hot attic pocket cooking the house in the summer and no trapped moisture hanging around in the winter. And because we did it right, we never fought mold, except for the problem with our bathroom ceiling. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch my 3 biggest regrets video. But other than that, in the main area of the house, we never had a sweating ceiling and we never dealt with condensation raining down on us. And the whole home stayed way cooler, especially here in the South. That one decision, roof ventilation, made our shed home healthier, safer, and a whole lot more comfortable. It's not fancy, it's not pretty, but it might be one of the smartest things that you can do in any shed to home build. If you want to see a quick explanation video of how I handled the ventilation in the ceiling, I'll put a link to that video down in the description of this video. That brings me to win number 3, and that was installing an efficient and affordable mini split. All right, let's talk about our mini split, how this has made a huge difference in how comfortable our home has felt every single day. This little thing right here was one of the smartest investments that we made. A lot of folks underestimate how important heating and cooling is in a shed home. Sheds aren't always insulated like traditional houses. They can heat up fast and they can cool off fast. So if you don't have the right system, you're gonna be miserable. But our mini split, it shocked us with how good it actually is. First off, it's quiet. You don't realize how loud the window units are until you finally get rid of one. Second, it's efficient. Our power bill has stayed low, and even in the heat of summer. But here's the best part, and the part that I love the most: it was DIY friendly to install. We chose a model that has pre-charged lines, which meant there was no pulling a vacuum, no special gauges, no refrigerant work. I didn't even have to call in an HVAC tech to get it running. I installed the whole thing by myself. It was designed to be installed by a regular homeowner, and that made all the difference for us. That mini split has kept our home comfortable year round. It's warm without drying us out in the winter, and it's cool without sounding like a jet engine in the summer. And it's steady. No big hot and cold swings like you get with window units. And it also is truly made our shed home feel like a real home. And the best part, it didn't break the bank to install or to run. So this one little system provided massive quality of life improvement, in my opinion. Now let me tell you something that was one of the smartest design choices we made, and it had nothing to do with tools or materials. It had to do with space. We chose an open floor plan with tall ceilings, and that decision made our 16 by 52 shed way bigger than what it was on paper. It's a night and day difference. When you walk into a shed that's chopped up with low ceilings and tiny rooms, it can feel cramped real quick. But when you open that space up, when you let the ceiling rise a little bit, everything changes. The house suddenly feels brighter and more breathable and bigger, and it's easier to cool, it's easier to heat, and honestly, it's more peaceful. It doesn't feel like a shed at all. It feels like a real home. The tall ceilings give the air room to move. They let heat rise, which kept the living space cooler, and the open layout makes every square foot count. We never felt boxed in like we were living in a cramped cabin, and we never regretted keeping things simple. A lot of folks try to squeeze in lofts and partitions, walls, cubbies, all kinds of things that look cute on Pinterest, but they feel claustrophobic in real life. Because we kept this open and lets the ceiling breathe, we gain not just space but comfort. It was one of those choices that didn't cost us extra money, but it has paid us back every single day that we live here. Okay, and finally, this last win might not sound as flashy as ventilation or mini splits or tall ceilings, but in the long run, it made the biggest difference in our life and in our peace of mind. We avoided deep debt. Now look, I'm not gonna pretend it was easy. Building slow, it's not glamorous, it's not exciting, and it sure doesn't make for quick before and after pictures that you can post on YouTube and Instagram. But building slow, paying for things one paycheck at a time, staying within our means, that right there gave us something no fancy upgrade ever could: freedom. Because we built without a big loan hanging over our heads. We slept better. We didn't fight stress every month. We didn't fear losing the home if times got tight. We could pause when we needed. We could adjust as we learned, and we stayed completely in control of the project. And I'll tell you something else. When you're not buried under payments, you build differently. You think differently. You make decisions that fit your life, not the bank's timeline. People ask me all the time, should I go into debt to build my tiny home? And my honest answer is always this: if you can avoid going deep into debt, do it. A paid-for home, even if it's small, will change your entire life. Our shed home gave us stability, relief, and room to breathe, and that's a kind of wealth that no lender can offer you. It wasn't perfect, and it still isn't. It wasn't fast, but it's ours, and without strings attached. And that's one of the best wins that we ever had. So here's the truth that I really want you to hear. When you're building a shed home or any tiny home, you're gonna have regrets. Every builder does. Nobody gets through this without a few "what was I thinking" moments. But you're also gonna have wins, and those wins matter more than you realize in the moment. Some wins save you money, some wins save you stress, and some wins make your home feel more comfortable and safe. And some wins just make you proud. When we look back on our 16 by 52 shed home, the regrets were real. But these wins are what carried us through. They gave us momentum when we felt stuck. They made the home feel like a home, and they reminded us that we could do this, even on a small budget. Even learn as we went, even with mistakes along the way, and that's why I shared these videos with you. Not to show off, not to pretend like we did everything right, but to give you the head start that I wish someone had given me. If you're building your own shed home or planning to, take the wins where you can get them. Build slow, build smart, build with intention, and remember, you don't have to build perfect. You just have to build for you. Now that you've heard what we got right, go watch the video where I talk about the things that we got wrong, the regrets, the hard lessons, the stuff that I wish someone had warned me about before we ever swung a hammer. And when you're done with both of those, watch The Truth About Shed Conversions in 2026. That video ties everything together. The legal side, the building side, the emotional side, and it'll help you make smarter decisions from day one. Between these 3 videos, you'll be miles ahead of where we were when we started. Hit like if this helped you, drop a comment if you got any questions at all, and I'll see you in the next one.